Hi there, my name is Ben Painter from Circle Canoe Games, and today we're going to talk about Pirate Cribbage. Pirate Cribbage is a game of wagering, secret information, and card drafting. It's an 18-card game with just a few tokens. It plays in 10 to 15 minutes with 2 to 3 players. And best of all, I'm offering it as a free print and play that you can download and cut out really quickly so you can be playing today. In this video, we're going to talk about how you set it up, how you play, and go through some of the rules. Of course, the rules are also going to be part of the download, so you should always read those as well. So first thing we're going to do is set up the board the way it needs to go. You have your King's Suit cards, 3 of them. Those just need to get shuffled, and the top one needs to get flipped over. Each player needs to get their set of tokens, so I'm going to spread these out this way. Then we have the rest of the cards. They're in 3 suits, numbers 1 through 5. Each player gets 1 face down. And the rest are laid out in 2 rows of 6 face down. The first thing to understand is that Pirate Cribbage is a bidding, drafting game where you are trying to get the best cards you can from the available cards here into your hand for the final score. The points are a very loose interpretation of cribbage points, so you're talking pairs, 3 of a kind, runs, as well as having cards that are in the King's Suit, which we'll talk about that in a second. On your turn, you must take 3 actions. First, you must peek at any of the cards that you either have a high bid on or that no one has a bid on. So for instance, I would pick this card, and I would secretly look at it and peek at it. In this case, I'll let you see. This is a 5 of bearings. Okay? Then you would place it back down. The next action you must do is you must place a bid. A bid can be any number of the tokens you have. You start out with 8. And so, for instance, if I thought I wanted that card because it's a 5 and higher numbers tend to get you more points at the end of the game, then I would bid maybe 2. Then you must flip a card. You can, again, flip any card that you have a high bid on or that doesn't have a bid on it at all. And we'll talk about why you would want to flip a card over in just a second. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and flip this card over. Okay, so now everyone can see what card I placed a bid on. Then it goes to the next player's turn. That player must then do the same actions. They must peek. Okay, so maybe they would start over here. Peek. They would bid. Let's say they don't really want that card, so they could bid on another card that's face down, and then they might also opt to flip that card over. They'll see what they bid on. Okay, again, that's a 5. They're bidding 1 on it, so that might be a pretty good deal for them. Okay. And then we go on to the next player. The next player is able to do the same thing. First, they would peek. Say they want to peek at this card, okay? But they're looking at these other cards and thinking, I don't really want the other players to get these so easily. So you are allowed to overbid anyone else's bid, okay? You have to put at least 1 more token there than what's there. And so they're looking at this card and saying, you know what, I think I'll put down 2 there. So now they have the high bid on that card. Okay, so they peeked at this one, they bid, and now they get to flip 1 over. They'll say, well, I know that player flipped this one over earlier, so I'm going to see what that was. Okay, it's a low card. Okay, now we're back to the first player's turn. Before their turn starts, they get to claim any cards that they have the high bid on that is face up. Since they have the high bid on this 5 of bearings, they would take that into their hand. It remains face up, and these tokens get put off to the side. These get discarded, and there will be a way to claim those later. So let's talk about suits real quick. There is 1 suit that will be a King's Suit. That's the suit that's actually going to be worth points at the end. And the points are equal to the number value on that card of that suit. And so we don't start out the game knowing what suit it is. We actually just start knowing what suit it is not. So we have 1 flipped up, and we know that the King's Suit will not be this one, in this case, the bearings. Once everyone has claimed one card into their hand from the middle pile, then we flip this over, and it will reveal what the king's suit will actually be, in this case, anchors. So at that point, we know which cards are the most valuable in terms of their suit. Okay, so I'm gonna play forward in this game for just a second, and I'll come back with a couple more points. So at this point, all the players actually know what the king's suit is, and now they know that the anchors are actually the most valuable cards by themselves. Okay, so you can see the blue player no longer has any tokens left. That brings up the alternate turn. The alternate turn is a turn that any player can take one turn during the game, any turn they want. On that turn, they still get to collect the cards that they have the high bids on, but they don't do the regular actions. Instead, they get to reclaim any of their tokens that have been discarded. So they got their 8 tokens back, and now it goes to the next player. Near the end of the game, it is possible that some actions can't be taken. In this case, there are no more cards to peek at, so you just skip over. Any actions that can be taken must be taken. The exception to that is if the only option is to overbid another player, you are able to pass. As soon as the final card is played, the game is done, and you proceed to scoring. Each player scores the cards they claimed, as well as the secret card that they were dealt at the beginning of the game, and hypothetically were including in their calculations as things went along. So let's talk about scoring. You can score pairs. In this case, this player has 2 3s. Pairs are worth the face value of the one card, so a pair of 3s is worth 3. Okay, so they have 3. They also have a pair of 5s, so that is 5, so that's 8. Okay, then we're also dealing with runs. A card can only be in a single run, so unlike Cribbage, if you're familiar with that, you can only have single runs. There are no double runs, so this is 3 more points, and you need at least 3 cards in a run, of course. So we're up to 11 points. And then you can also have the king's suit cards. In this case, the king's suit ended up being anchors, and he has the 3 of anchors, so that's 3 more points. So we ended up with a score of 14 because of the cards. You also add in the number of tokens you have left. In this case, the blue player has 7 tokens left, so we had a score of 14 plus 7 is 21. So player 1 had 21 points. Let's go to player 2 and see what they have. Okay, right off the bat, we see they have a run of 4. They have a pair of 4s, so that's 4 more points, that's 8. And they have a 4 of anchors, which is the king's suit. So that's 4 more, that's 12. And they have all 8 tokens left, so that is 20. And the last player here, let's see how they did. Okay. No runs, no pairs, but they did manage to get several of the king's suit. So they have 5, 7, 8, plus all 8 tokens. So that is a total of 16 points. So player 1 wins. I will add one more thing. 3 of a kind is also worth points. If you ended up with, for instance, 3 3s, this would be worth double the face value, or 6 points. Okay, or 3 5s would be worth 10 points. 3 4s would be worth 8 points. So 3 of a kind is also a pretty good way to score some points. So there you have it. That's Pirates Cribbage. Plays in about 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 players. When you play with a 2-player game, there's actually the 3rd player plays with some AI rules. So they still participate, and that keeps it from being a zero-sum game, which is really helpful. So yeah, it's really fun. 18 cards makes it really easy for you to print out, cut out, and play really quickly. So again, the link for the print and play is in the description, and yeah, have fun.